All right, you guys, podcast time. We got the equipment and the perfect business plan. Give our show away for free and tell no one how to find it. Ready?
Welcome to another episode of the Brand X Podcast. I am one of your hosts, John. Alongside of me is Deuce.
Come stop, bitches.
And Joe.
Heidi ho.
Wait a minute, you're not Joe. So we don't have Joe, but I didn't want to let you down because I know how you love to have three of us here. So I went to the bullpen and I pulled out a left-hander from North Carolina. Well, he's not actually from North Carolina, but he lives in North
Carolina. I'm not a left fucking hander.
Jesus. Everybody wants to sit there and tell me how wrong I am. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Doug from the Who's Right podcast. How you doing, Doug?
Welcome aboard.
Thanks for having me on.
Hey, you finally got to get to the A show. Get to the A-League show.
I am on a show, that is for sure.
Okay. Hey, listen, before we get into everything, you know what would be great? If you went to the Brand X Podcast, brandxpodcast.com/gear, and went over and took a look at all the unbelievable T-shirts in all the styles and colors, and get yourself a nice, stylish T-shirt. Right now, it's starting to get a little bit colder out. You might need a hoodie. Not only will you be supporting the show, but you'll actually get a pretty good T-shirt. So all you need to do is go over to brandxpodcast.com/gear and check it out. We would appreciate that. All right, man. How's your week been, Deuce?
Running the Empire. I got the second of 3 apartments rented out, it looks like. There is now a light at the end of the tunnel.
And it's not a train?
No, that was the oncoming light all summer long. It was, you need an air conditioner. You need this. You need that.
It never stops.
No. And work was kind of quiet this week, so that made it even better.
Okay, that's good. Nothing from the break room?
Yes, we were discussing today, as a matter of fact, because guys love to talk about movies, and one of the best movies that guys like to talk about is Jaws.
Okay.
And I don't know if you ever read the book. I was being facetious.
That's a good one.
So I don't know, Doug, have you familiar with the book as well?
I didn't even know there was a fucking book.
Basically, the Spielberg was right in the ending of Jaws. The ending, the death of the shark in the book sucked. Steven Spielberg took the correct way, and we basically talked about shooting the gas tank, the oxygen tank in the shark's mouth. And, of course, that wouldn't happen because Jamie and Adam on Mythbusters, they had to go through a lot of machinations to make that happen. So out of the blue, one of my coworkers says, yeah, well, that guy Jamie, he's probably gay. And I was like,
now, which one is the one with the handlebar mustache?
Yeah,
or the other one?
And the beret. And I says, well, I don't know if he's gay or not. I says, I don't know what difference that makes. I says,
it doesn't make any difference.
Right. I says, but what's your rationale for that? And his rationale was like, well, because he wears a beret.
He can't.
It wasn't because he had handlebars on his face.
That's the first thing I thought. He had a dick duster. But he's like,
guys took more balls to the chin and a cockeyed catcher.
It's the beret. That's what got you. And he says, yeah, unless you're in the Green Berets or an Army Ranger, you should never be wearing a beret. So that instilled a whole nother. Now the conversation took a real turn, obviously.
Sure.
You know, so it was just something I never really thought about. You know, like we're sitting here talking about a movie, and the next thing you know, you're like going off on berets, and maybe the guy likes to paint or something. Like, yeah, but he wears suspenders too. Maybe he likes to keep his pants up. You know?
Yeah, sometimes belts are a little bit tougher. From a fat guy that knows, sometimes belts don't even work.
Yeah, so I don't know whether Jamie...
You gotta cinch them suckers up so tight, your legs go to sleep.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy the show a lot. I've been watching it for years, and but I don't know whether the guy's gay or not. It doesn't matter to me. Just like the beret thing, just like...
I don't care what anybody says. You shoot that shark in the head with that rifle, it's dying.
No, it won't.
What? Mm-mm. I'm telling you right now, you'd shoot it.
It's been done.
You mean you shoot a shark in the head and it keeps swimming?
Yeah. They're pretty resilient. They suffer lots of trauma, and they keep on going. They're like Energizer bunnies.
Really?
Yeah, they're resistant to cancer. They don't get cancer.
Well, we used to have, back when I was a kid, my dad, we would go out on a boat, and we'd go night shark fishing. And I killed a 6-footer. We used to have a bang stick with a 12-gauge shotgun shell on it.
Right.
And you would just bang it at the top of the head. That was the end of that.
Yeah, and that was a 6-foot shark, not a 25-ton with 3 tons on them. You know,
he can't take down 3 barrels.
Yeah,
He'll never take down 3 barrels.
not
Let me tell you
three,
something.
can't-
If I got close enough to hit him with that bang stick, he'd go down.
well, that's what Hooper was trying to do in the cage, in the book. But then they changed it to a needle in the movie.
Well,
they were going to drug the shark.
It was a movie.
Right.
First of all right. I understand. See, this is how the movie would go if it was John. I'd be this Brody.
First of all, you wouldn't be even on the boat.
No, I'd go out, and I'd see that sucker come across and put his head up like that, like when he was chumming and the shark put his head up and came back down again. I'd have pulled my pistol out. I'd have put it to the back of the captain's head, and I said, we're going in. That's it. And the movie would have been over. They would have rolled the credits. Because I'm not out there in a wooden boat, piece of shit boat, trying to take down a shark that big. I need more muscle and more firepower. You don't need a bigger boat. You need a bigger boat, and I brought a depth charge out, a couple sticks of dynamite or something like that. I'd have fixed that shark.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
Exactly. I would have definitely taken that shark out.
Yeah. But, you know, shooting in the water from a rifle, it's pretty tough to do.
Okay, so I got another story for you.
Okay.
I swear these are true.
Are these all encountering 25-foot great white sharks with 3 tons on them?
No, this was about an 8-foot hammerhead.
Okay.
All right, so my father and my cousin, my dad's cousin, so he's my second cousin, we're out shark fishing. He's got an 8-foot hammerhead on, and it's rocking. You know, it's rocking pretty good. So he had a rifle. My dad has a rifle, so he's up on the flying bridge, and he's trying to shoot the shark with the rifle. So he shoots, and when he does, he shoots the fishing line. He shoots the wire leader.
1 in a million shot.
Right. He shoots the wire leader. My cousin whips around and goes, "What the hell?" My dad goes, "Really? You think I could make that shot again in about 1 in a million? I could have 10 boxes of shells and not shoot that line again. The way this thing's rocking and everything." But
The one that got away.
yeah, but I'm just saying, you can't shoot deep into the water. If they're shallow, if they're breaking the water, you can hit them with it. If it's like 2 or 3 feet down, you're not the bullet's going to just
It's
bounce
been
off.
done. I've read shark reports.
Really?
Yeah.
You've read shark reports?
That's what I do.
I don't have a response for that.
And
How
that
do you
was-
read a shark report?
That was my intention.
I wouldn't even know how to find a shark report, let alone read one.
Well, they're compiled in these mysterious subjects called books, and I know. And I'm looking around the room here, and there's nary a book to be found. So
There's not even the magazine, not a newspaper.
you're very anti-paper over there.
That's right, I am. I'm very anti-paper.
All the papers in. The
I don't even
bathroom.
have a printer.
You
There's
know-
not even a printer.
Hey, Deuce, when you watch Shark Week, do you have your hands in your pants, or is it all
I
on the up and up?
continually rub one out. I'm ambidextrous. Sometimes I rotate my hands for freshness.
The TV screen looks like a glazed donut.
No, I don't sit that close.
Trying to get an arc, trying to arc it up.
So this wound up talking about Jamie might being gay, you know,
Now-
on Mythbusters, and it suddenly became very gay sounding with the
Now all of a sudden,
blazing your television set and you're rubbing one out over a shark.
right. I do like Shark Week. I'm not going to lie, and I'm fascinated by sharks. I don't know.
The book was the book was a lot different than the movie.
Right.
Like in the book, Matt Hooper and Quint both died.
Oh, okay.
Hooper was banging Mrs. Brody.
He was?
Oh yeah, that's why you didn't feel bad for Hooper dying in the book when he
'Cause
got
he was
eaten by the
banging
shark. Yeah, he was banging Mrs.
Brody.
Brody. Yeah.
Huh.
So she wanted to go back to New York. He, you know, like. Well,
Whatever.
she was homesick and all that bullshit. She wanted to go back
Somewhere
to...
there's somebody that is like in the last chapter of the book, hasn't finished it yet, and they're going to hear this, and they're going to be all fucking.
Well, I didn't
pissed
tell
off.
the ending. I didn't tell the
Well, now he knows.
They're reading a 40-year-old book
Yeah.
that came out in 1974. I'll read this.
When I was 74, I was 13 or 14 years old when that book came out. We were down the shore. We were at the beach. We watched the movie on at a boardwalk movie theater. The next day, me, my father, and 2 other people were out crabbing in water. We used to go to this place where you would walk along the rocks, water up to your waist, and you would look for crabs, and then you would
Pull them out in the bucket.
you would scoop them with a net and put them in a bucket. I couldn't do it. I was like, my dad's like, "You're a big sissy. Get in the water." I'm like, "Dad, I'm not going in that water. There could be a shark in there." He goes, "There's no sharks in here. Get in the water." And I'm like, "No." He grabbed me, threw me in the water. "Get in there and get some crabs. Stop being such a pussy." Right? Now, you do that today, and kids they'd call DIFUS. They'd go to school.
Oh.
You'd have you'd get a talking to.
Yeah, Stern lecture.
Yeah. I mean, there was none of that going on. I'm sitting there, and every time I'm in there with my back to because you got your back to the open water, and all I hear, I hear that music coming. I'm like, damn it, I couldn't sleep.
Of course, the other staple of that discussion led off into who would beat who in a fight, and it involves superheroes.
Oh,
yeah, so that always breaks out.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Superman wins all fights.
Superhero, not if you have kryptonite.
Who has kryptonite?
We have determined that Batman can beat everyone, even Godzilla. So
really?
No, just ask a Batman fan. They're like so gay for Batman.
Well, okay.
Batman could defeat anybody. Jesus could come off the cross and Batman will kick his ass.
Not if he's still got one of them spikes in his hands. That's fucking one spike to the temple and Batman's going down.
Well, you figure Jesus' hand can go faster because it's less wind resistant. The hair would go right through.
It's like a fly swatter.
Yeah.
Hadouken!
Right.
Yeah, this is what we entertain ourselves with at the...
I'll tell you
There's
what.
no deep thinking going on in there. I'm telling you.
Did you read the book? Again, that whole superhero thing, I don't even know how to explain that. It's like trying to figure out what three people that don't exist would win in a fight. I wouldn't even waste my time.
Well, it's kind of like the same thing as fantasy football.
No, they actually play.
Yeah, you get scores from fantasy football.
Yeah, they actually play.
But you're matching people up. See, it's like the old gag is fantasy football is Dungeons and Dragons for jocks. I'm going to pretend to be a coach. I'm going to make a team.
But there's players on the field that actually do something.
But are you a millionaire?
Fantasy football is still fucking stupid, but at least you have something that you can measure against.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's somebody out there actually doing something. You just don't have a guy, some nerd, opening up a book and throwing dice and saying, okay, well, this just happened.
Probability die.
Yeah. I mean, I played Dungeons and Dragons with you guys one time back when we were in our 20s.
I don't remember that.
And I was like, and I'm sitting there and you guys are telling me, okay, we're going to do this. And what do you do next? And I'm like, what do I do next? I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm going to go find real men. Okay.
I don't remember you ever doing that. I think you're telling a tall tale.
We did it. I forget where we were, but there was you. Who was the guy? Who was the dungeon
master? Was Wave.
That's who it was.
Yeah.
It was Wave.
Well, it was always Wave.
Right. That's just, yeah. It might even have been, you might not have been there. It might have actually been at the college radio station. You might not have been there.
Yeah. Probably.
Well, I saw, they tried to do that one time. Oh, this is great. You ought to play this game. And they're like, they're all into this thing. And I'm like,
well, because it requires
why don't we just get G.I. Joes and dress up like Barbies? And it's the same
Why would
thing.
you dress a G.I. Joe as a Barbie?
I'm just saying, it's about the same thing. Has nothing that has to do with any kind of reality. Mm-hmm. Let's just go make shit up. And then everybody's, I don't know.
Become rich.
Who's rich?
I
made
played
that shit up. The guys.
I played Dungeons and Dragons once, and I took a vagina to the dick, and that ended that.
Yeah,
right.
That tends to go away.
Well, you know what they have out now? It's that. You ever see that card game? It's called Magic: The Gathering.
No, there's a ton of stuff like that.
Yeah, there's actually a podcast.
Well, even Pokemon.
Yeah, all those
back
things.
in the day. And
yeah,
there was another one.
All that
too.
make believe crap.
Yeah, so it's a good way if you can come up with a racket like that. You can make a ton of money.
So you're telling me the guy that invented Dungeons and Dragons that you can do by yourself for nothing actually made money? How did he make any money?
Well, selling all those monster manuals and the book. Gary Gygax was his name, and
Oh, I didn't even know any. See, I don't know enough to know enough.
Why do you know that? Why do you know the name of the guy that invented D&D?
Because he's Deuce.
Because that's what I do. I dabble in minutia. Minutia.
He's Deucepedia. That's what he does. You're
a lot of those guys.
A
lot of the game consoles that they have around today, like PS, Xbox, whatever. All those guys that designed that stuff were guys that
played Dungeons.
That played that kind of stuff, and that begat that whole industry. So,
there's millions and millions of billions of dollars made on games and stuff like that.
If you can,
just for the record, I just fact checked you, Deuce. You were right.
Thank you. I never hear that enough from my co-host.
First of all, I don't care. I don't care enough to fact check him. I don't. Because it just doesn't matter. He could say whatever he wants.
No, yeah, that'll work.
I'm serious. I don't care.
See, it's funny. I thank you for that, though, because whenever I say something, John, nobody's fact checking this show. If I had $1 for every time that John said that I would be a billionaire like Gary Gygax. Daniel Redpolt's fact checked the show.
That's right. He told you were wrong on one thing.
Well, I didn't clarify. I have to go look up then.
Oh, you didn't fact check his fact check?
Yeah, because, it depends on where you're getting your facts. I mean, his might be applicable to California where he's from.
Well, thank God we have Google so we can go fact check all this
Everyone becomes an instant genius.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into something that we all can talk about.
Well, first of all, I'm curious, how's the move going, Doug, with everything with you?
I've got boxes fucking everywhere. We just got our new bed delivered and our new furniture delivered, so everything's coming together.
What have you found, like, North Carolina? Are you liking it there? Is it, like, really, how do you feel about it?
The people here are fucking fantastic. The black people here are fantastic. The white people here are fucking assholes.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah. I thought I was in for, I got a shaved head and a bunch of tattoos. I got tattoos on my neck and shit. I thought I'd get down here and be the victim of a hate crime within the first week. But it turns out black people here are much nicer than even from Illinois where I'm from.
Okay.
But fucking white people here are just rude as fuck. Either
really
rude and dumb. Just slow.
Kind of like that because you're not from around there, so they don't take to you. Or...
Yeah, you are Yankee.
Oh, it's people that I interact with, say at the gas station or driving on the road. It's more aggressive driving here than in Chicago.
That is true too. Because they're all NASCAR fans. They all think they're a NASCAR driver.
Mm.
I'll never forget one time I was down there and you go into a restaurant. I was down there for a couple of days and you go in the restaurant. They all have the same thing. It's like saltine crackers or townhouse crackers and Thousand Island dressing. That's an appetizer down there.
Mm-hmm.
Like they bring it out. You know how like if you go to a restaurant and they bring out bread and like olive oil and some spices you can dip?
Yeah.
Not there. You get crackers and Thousand Island dressing.
I think I might have talked about this on the podcast before. Diane's family's from the Pennsylvania Dutch country, and in between like Harrisburg and Pottsville, and they're German mostly. And what they put on their salad, like you'll get there'll be a salad bowl on the table, lettuce, tomato, onions, whatever, but they put hot salad dressing on it.
Oh, and it wilts everything.
Yeah, and it's like weird. It's like, ugh. I mean, I've
had that
I kind of had the yips. I'm like, I'm just like, to me, that lettuce is supposed to be crisp and cold and crunchy, and I don't know, but it had the look and texture of lettuce that's been laying in the sink all day after you made the salad, like
a cat
the
hairball.
parts of the lettuce that you don't use to put in the salad. It all had that consistency. I was like, I never heard of anything like that. It was like, ooh, but they go crazy for it.
The first week I was here, me and my wife went to a restaurant, sat down, and I ordered a cheeseburger. And they said, "What do you want on it?" And I said, "Oh, everything, I guess. Whatever you guys put on it."
Well, that's a bad move.
No shit.
Crab meat.
No, it came back and it had ketchup, mustard, coleslaw, chili. Oh, it was fucking good.
Coleslaw. Ooh.
Yeah, I like coleslaw. I mean, you can put coleslaw on a burger. I don't know if I want, like, if you're going to put coleslaw on there, then I don't want ketchup and mustard. But, if you're going to put chili on there, I might put a little mustard on. I don't know.
They call that a sloppy Joe.
I guess. I don't know. I have no idea.
I found out North Carolina barbecue is distinctly different.
Yeah, I think it's a vinegar-based barbecue.
Exactly. And because we went to Greensboro, North Carolina twice for the company I used to work for. And there's a cigarette manufacturer, and the plant was down there. And they put the big spread out there. I mean, the food was good, don't get me wrong. But when you say barbecue, everything up here is Texas-based barbecue. So then we sit down to that, and it was like, wow, it was like unexpected. I mean, it was good, but I kind of had my heart set on Texas barbecue. So,
well, the time I was in North Carolina for the couple of days, I was there for a hunting dog competition, and we went to a place called Clinton, North Carolina, and they had you go there in the morning. They go, "Do you want lunch?" And I go, "Okay, what's for lunch?" And they go, "Barbecue." And I go, "Barbecue what?" And they go, "Check it out. He asked barbecue what? Barbecue, son, barbecue. Look, out there." They had this big giant pig out there turning on a spit. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. So I buy lunch, come back from, doing the dog competition, everything. So we go to eat lunch. So I go over there and I figure you're going to have like a tray of meat. No, they give you a knife.
You go cut the
go
pig
over
and
there,
get it.
Cut what you want, boy. Take what you want. It's all, go ahead, get what you want there. Get yourself a plate of that. I'm like,
did you skeletonize that pig?
Oh, I'll tell you what, I took half an ass cheek. I took. That was my first round. It was amazing. It was I'll tell you what, I liked it. And when I got done, it looked like
you murdered someone.
Yeah, it did. I had it all over me.
The other thing I'm having a problem with here, so the food's been great, but like I said, the people, everything goes slow here. I don't know if it's other than, of course, the fucking traffic, but if you go out to eat, it's like an hour and a half affair. I mean, service here is completely different than what I'm used to.
Yeah, they're not worried about turning tables, evidently.
No.
What's your hurry there, Yankee boy?
Or, you go up to, even going to pay for gas, the gas station attendant will sit there and talk to somebody out on the floor or sit there and play on their phone or just do whatever the fuck they want. It doesn't matter if you're standing there or not.
No sense of urgency.
You want to throttle them.
Oh, fuck, it drives me nuts.
The Jimmy just sent us a voicemail.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that boy.
The magic of the Jimmy.
The magic of the Jimmy.
Why don't you have him on?
We did twice.
We had him on, but first of all, he's a diva. He never wants to come on. And then when he does come on, he won't talk about anything. He's like, I'll tell you that, but I can't talk about that. And then he sits there and he plays on his phone and he's away from the mic. And by the time, like halfway through, I get a twitch in my eye and I want to beat him with a mic stand.
So you've just turned him into a character then?
I've kind of basically turned him into a character.
I think he and Joe were on. The Jimmy was on by himself, like way back, like around episode 37, 36, right. And then Joe and the Jimmy came on together. There was 4 of us here, and that was like around episode 40, somewhere around then. We haven't had him back on though. You didn't ban the Jimmy, did you?
But he's like, I'm gonna come on. I gotta come on. I'm like, all right, come on. What do I care? Come on. And then then I say, you're gonna come on? And he's like, I can't make it tonight. I got to get a shower. I got to do this. I got to do that. So I'm like, okay, so whatever.
He's the well-dressed the Jimmy.
Well, again, I'm not 100%.
When he comes on.
Yeah, of course, he comes in here. He's going to be well-dressed or whatever. I don't know. So are you ready for the Jimmy voicemail? Are we ready for this?
You're going to play this now?
Let's find out what he's got to say. Here we go. This is the actual Jimmy. It's not me doing the Jimmy. Here we go.
This is the Jimmy. This is unacceptable. I got Mavis all pumped up and ready to listen to the Brand X podcast live, and you can't do it this week. Fuck you!
Oh, the Jimmy's very succinct.
Now, Doug, is my imitation that far off of him?
Spot on.
Exactly. There you go, Jimmy. Sorry. I know you're trying to bag that Mavis chick. I know that.
Oh, let's not even go down that fucking road again, please.
Yeah, I'm sorry you didn't get the whole premise of the joke.
Oh, so we can talk about that if you want. That would
sure.
be. So I got the premise. It was
just not funny for you.
Well,
it didn't tickle your.
The pre-recorded shit was fine and funny, but you guys were starting to transition to something else, and Deuce started talking. And you said, "Hold on, there's another one," and then you cut him off, and then Joe started talking.
I think I just started playing the.
Go back and listen to it.
Go back. Okay, I'll go back.
Play it now. Fuck it. Play it now.
I can't play it now because I don't have it now. This isn't a radio station.
I like how John just totally misread your message, Doug. Like, I think you better listen to that again. He's like,
and then we look into chat. And you're like, yes, now the Jimmy one.
The funny thing is. I don't talk to the radio. I don't talk to the TV, except I did in that episode. I was like, no, you motherfucker. The only other time that you've got me screaming at my phone is when you edited my last voicemail.
I'm trying to figure, what did I do? What did I take out? Because I went back to listen to see what I took out. What did I take out?
I don't know.
I think it was Deuce's coworker that came in, right?
Superfan Dave.
Superfan Dave.
Yeah, and you kept having him say, suck these nuts or whatever.
These nuts.
And I had mentioned something about that being a 90s ripoff of a third-rate Cheech and Chong or something, but you took out my punchline and left my bumbling ending and then fucking poked me with it. You fuck.
Yeah, John would never do that.
You know what? I think, I don't know what it was about the Cheech and Chong thing. Now that you bring it up, I'm thinking what happened was when it came through, it was kind of muffled and you couldn't really understand it. So I was like, am I going to play that? Because you couldn't really understand it. And then I was like, let me just cut that out. But I didn't realize that was your punchline. But I did like the idea where at the very end, I'm like, way to end strong, Doug. Way to end strong.
So I was thinking about calling and leaving yet another fucking voicemail.
I love it. I love when you leave a voicemail.
And accuse you of cutting and pasting my voicemail to make me sound stupid, but then you would have just played the original, and then I would have even came off worse.
Sometimes it's better to like take your lumps.
Wait a minute. Let me see something here. Because your voicemail might even be in here still, Doug.
Oh, it don't fucking matter.
Look at this. Here it is.
I don't know that it's worth playing again.
We're going to find out. We're going to find out real quick.
This is what I like about not doing this on Facebook Live, because
Yeah,
we
'cause
can
I
take
can-
as much time as we want. There's no pressure.
Here we go. Here's Doug.
Hey, this is Doug from Who's Right. First thing is, I love the new segments, or the way you're breaking it up into segments. Show flows nicely. Second thing is, quit crowbarring your fucking pre-recorded voicemail bullshit into the conversations. Your co-hosts are trying to get a word in, and you keep fucking cutting them off. Fuck.
Is that it?
That was the first one.
All right. So, the second one is the one where, is that the one we were talking about?
Yeah.
John, Doug, Who's Right. I just got done listening to you badmouth me for 20 minutes after you asked me to call. I am a listener. My voice needs to be heard. You need to quit fucking interrupting people.
So anyhow, what I was saying was, I just love whenever he says stop interrupting people, I just have to stop and interrupt him. Let's get back to this because I want to find out what I cut out.
Do you got it? Do you understand? And just because you bring some black guy on there to spew catchphrases, that ain't going to change nothing. So I ain't got nobody here standing by my side. So I'll tell you, suck my dick. Anyway, good show, man. Yeah.
All right, that's right from the website. I didn't cut a damn thing out of that.
Well, I meant to have a punchline then.
Are you sure that's not the original? And
That's the original. That's right from the website. It's still on the website. It's still on the Google Voice website. That's downloaded. That's nothing. That's brand new and raw. That's right from the website.
Yeah, I'm calling bullshit, but we don't need to talk about it
Oh,
anymore.
for God's sakes! Now all of a sudden, now it's me. I'm still doing it.
I want an investigation. Let's just drop it. It's not that big of a deal.
I guess not.
I like
since I didn't do anything.
although I like the premise of John changing shit around to fit his narrative.
I'm sticking with that.
Okay, go ahead. You do that.
There's hard telling what's going to come out of this. It's going to cut and paste me all to hell.
I didn't. You guys can all suck.
See, the thing with John is his memory is like a bar of Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
John will take 3 separate incidents and combine. It's like John turns it into an episode of Seinfeld. Is it not? It's not only just the Festivus episode, but it's the bad lighting on the porch and the human fund all wrapped into like.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. That happens.
So John takes 3 separate incidents that may have occurred years apart, and then so-and-so walked in like, whoa, that didn't happen. What are you talking about?
See, I have no memory, and Deuce has the memory of a steel trap.
It mangles everything.
Hey there, y'all. It's Juliet Miranda with the Unwritable Rant Podcast, and you are listening to my besties and the world's greatest shit starters, Brand X Podcast.
A couple was transported to the hospital in a very awkward position last night after a man somehow got his head stuck in his wife's vajayjay during a strange sexual game.
Okay. Now listen, I've done some pretty freaky things. How do you get your head stuck in there? I've heard of fisting. I've heard of the double fisting. I've heard of all that. How do you get your head stuck in there?
Can we get a
Well,
hold of
Doug's trying to get his head stuck in one right now. Listen to his microphone.
Can we get a hold of Roxy real quick? We can get this question answered.
I wish I could. Oh, you know what?
Roxy Ray?
Roxy Ray. But even her, she has those things that you...
Things. Speculum.
Speculums.
The
that you
reculum.
jam in there and pull them apart.
Yeah, reculum.
Reculums. That you just, you kind of jam them in there and pull them apart. Well, maybe you don't jam them in there. Maybe you grease them up and slide them in there. But...
Jam.
Yeah, but even that... That's not enough to put a head in there. Now, there's a picture of this guy's head. I mean, that's a big head.
You think those sideburns add anything?
You think maybe that's what happened? I think what happened was he got his head in there and his ears. I think his ears got stuck and he couldn't get his ears out. It's like he didn't suffocate.
Well, she's a large woman.
Okay.
By the picture.
But does that mean that that's large too?
Well, I
Yes.
You know, it's
Are you
not like
saying-
you're a large woman and she's wearing really tiny panties. She's going to cover it up.
I'm saying the hole where you would jam your head.
It stands to
Well, what
reason.
they do? I was like, keep thinking is like where the Bugs Bunny cartoon where the bull comes running across and hits Bugs Bunny in the ass. Maybe they were trying to do that and he got his head stuck in there. I have no idea.
Stop steaming up my tail.
I've got human centipede stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is?
That horrible movie.
He was probably trying to dock her,
Ugh.
but maybe it was just a little sloppy and he decided to put his head down.
Well,
Read on, Deuce. Let's find out what else happened.
anything goes on in fun and games. You know. Tom and Janice Morrison, as if that's their real name, a young couple from the small town of Greensboro in Alabama, called 911 around 10 p.m. to ask for an ambulance. Samantha Irving, the operator who took the call, says she thought it as a joke when he explained the situation. The woman told me that her husband had fallen and that his head was now stuck in her vaginal cavity.
All right, hang on one second. Doug, am I allowed to do a little role play here with this? Can I be the lady on the phone, the 911 operator?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Hello, 911 operator.
Oh, I got a problem.
Sir, what seems to be your problem?
I seem to have got my head stuck in my wife's pussy.
In her what?
My wife's pussy.
It's stuck in there. Now, sir, come on. This is 911. You can't be kidding around here.
You see what had happened?
Who is this woman that you're imitating?
It's in Alabama. It's in Alabama. What do you think she's going to sound like? My sir, now you can't have...
I got my head stuck in my sister's pussy.
Oh, that happens all the time. I'll send somebody right out.
Why didn't you say
Why
so?
didn't you say so? Not your wife. That's ridiculous.
You don't do that kind of stuff with your
Her
wife.
brother's head stuck in hers. So
Does he have sideburns?
I'm just trying to figure like how much pushing you got to do. All right, to get that thing in there. And then you can't get it out. I would be panicking. Like, I don't know how.
I would imagine
It would
it's very
really
tough
have to
to
be-
breathe.
Right. Like, maybe he got his nose in there, but his mouth was still open. Or I need more information.
He's like a Howie Mandel of this century.
Yeah. He's a Howie Mandel.
He's going to blow out his sinus cavity just trying to
Trying to get his head out. And then they bring him over. Now, how do they get her and him in an ambulance to the hospital?
What do you think she is, about 550?
No, she's a 300. She's over 300. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, she's got to be over 300.
Oh, yeah, 550 is over 300, John.
I like how
No, 550's huge.
I like how they pose very nicely to have their.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that
Part
was
of this.
before.
He looks like a fucking serial killer.
Yeah, look at him. Look at that eye. You'll see this later on. I'm going to take my head and jam it right up her hoo-ha. Wait till you see this. Usually a stunt like this is videotaped, wouldn't you think? I don't know.
Well, they might have self-respect.
Yeah,
I
sure
promise
they
you
do.
he doesn't.
No.
Not with those sideburns.
No. Okay. So what happened after so now the ambulance comes. They had to take him to the hospital. They couldn't even could you imagine the paramedics? Hold on. All right, Bubba, you grab her hips. All right, I got him by the feet. All right, hold on. Pull! I am pulling. Pull! I'm really alone here. You're going to kill me. So they got to get him in the ambulance.
Ambulance.
Bambalance.
How does that work? Like, how do they get her on there? And then he's got to probably walk behind her with his head down. I'm telling you, if this was on videotape, like somebody should have had a camera out. By the
One
time-
big gurney.
Yeah, so now they get him in. Now they get him in the emergency room. And did you see the picture of the doctor at the very bottom?
Yeah, it was like Colin Kaepernick.
Right, but did you see the look on his face? There's a man that has a look on his face like he's seen something that...
He's got the 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah, he's got...
Shell-shocked.
The woman told me her husband had fallen in and that his head was now stuck in her vagina cavity. I really thought that was a group of teenagers making a prank call.
You know, it'd be really ironic if this girl, if she was turned out to be that she was baby Jessica. So she originally fell in the well, and now somebody fell into her.
Baby Jessica. Wow, you're going way back
Way
for that
back,
one.
yeah.
That's about 25 years ago.
Here, the 911 operator continues. The woman kept screaming in pain whenever the guy moved, but he had half of his face buried in there, and he looked like he was going through hell. So they take him to the nearby Hale Community Hospital, where the doctors were able to separate the couple. We actually have audio of the separation. You ready? Oh, that's not it. Hold on. That was... There it is.
Where'd you take that one up?
Oh, dude, I had to work. I had to work on that one for a little while. There was a lot of searching and finding and cutting and pasting.
They couldn't get it out fast, so they had to fire up old Rusty. Just cut his head off.
It's easier just to cut his head off.
Yeah, you won't be using that anymore.
All right, here we go.
You're done with that.
I'm done with that? You don't like that sound?
No, I'm talking about the chainsaw.
Oh,
yeah,
I got you.
If they had to cut his head off, yeah, you're not using this anymore.
That's enough.
We're done.
All right. Mrs. Morrison suffered from severe internal bleeding, but is now stable, while her husband has just suffered only a few scratches and bruises.
Wow, what the hell was in there?
His head.
Scratches? Well, what could scratch him? She got teeth?
Well, I'm sure they had to put some kind of speculum thing in there to kind of pry his head out.
Crowbar.
Probably like one of those shovels you use to turn over, like a pointy nose shovel. Hold on. Let's see if we can get that shovel in there.
I'm thinking more like a post digger.
Post digger. Post digger.
Get that out.
Incidents like this one, indeed quite unusual, but hundreds of couples are admitted to hospitals every year in the U.S. after getting stuck during sexual intercourse. I would pray one time that I was big enough to get stuck inside somebody where I had to go to the hospital and have to be pried out of
your head?
Any part of my body, to be quite honest with you.
I don't have to worry about this.
Right, like, I don't know. I make a fist. That'd probably be tough to get out. According to the data collected by the U.S. Department of Health, can I get on that committee where you got to go around and find out?
Things?
Yeah, I want to investigate this, all right? Hundreds of couples are admitted to hospital after getting stuck during sexual intercourse. According to the data collected by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, 3,213 couples were hospitalized for such problems across the country in 2015 and 3,789 in 2016. It's trending up. I blame
There's more
Pornhub.
Blame Viagra.
Viagra?
Yeah, that probably has a lot to do with it.
I guess. According to the same data, the Morrisons are the first couple to be hospitalized for a head stuck in the vagina cavity. Not the first time. Since 2007, this happened before.
Did you ever have...
No, I never did.
I've done it twice.
This urban legends. And now we got the internet. But remember back in high school, we would always hear the urban legends.
Of?
Like, well, just urban legends.
Yeah,
of
of
things
course,
of this
tons of
nature.
them.
Did you ever have one involving one of your teachers in high school?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. We had one. I want to see if this was one that just went around that would get attached to, like, if it's the same story.
Okay.
But it was like everyone heard it and it was attached to a teacher. Allegedly, there was a teacher and his nickname became known as Shot Glass Tommy. And the rumor is that he went into an emergency room. And it's always an emergency room like 75 miles away where no one will know him.
Sure.
And they extracted a shot glass from his asshole. But of course, as fate would have it, there was a graduate there from our high school that recognized him. So did you guys ever have any story like that?
I heard the story, but nothing from our high school like that.
It was never attached to someone like in your circle of the neighborhood or school or whatever.
No, and I've never heard anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe
like
it's
if I'm
true.
sitting there and I'm messing around with a shot glass and it happens to get wedged.
Well, this is empty. I better put it away.
Right. Maybe I got some creamy crack and I'm trying to like scrape it out of there. I don't know. But let me say I'm messing around with this and then all of a sudden, I lose it and I can't get to it. Do you think I'm going to the local hospital? No, I'm getting in a car and I'm driving 100 miles away. Mm-hmm. I'm going to that hospital.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not going to the hospital around me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck. I'd just go to the neighbor's house.
Can you help me out
I
here?
don't give a fuck.
Man, I'll tell you what, thank God you're not my neighbor.
There's a guy here with tattoos and a shot glass in his ass, and he wants us to help him out. Great way to impress the new neighbors there.
What am I supposed to do, Doug? Put an air compressor in your mouth and try to blow it out? I mean, what am I going to do?
Suck it out.
You come to my house.
But I was just curious, what stories did you hear, Doug? You said you heard an urban legend or whatever, something?
Oh, just there's teachers fucking students or
Well, not only that, but the gerbling. Remember the gerbling? Gerbling was a big one.
Guy fucking a cat, girl.
He wanted a little pussy.
Oh, and so what's great about that one is that rumor went around about the guy. So he was like my arch nemesis, I guess. I mean, I was a freshman, he was a senior. So every time he'd see me in the hallway, he'd fucking push me and all that shit. But yeah, that went around about him, that he fucked a cat.
Yeah, you're pretty much dropping out of high school at that point.
Really?
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, that's it. I'm done.
I'll settle for the GED.
We would play cat scratch fever and shit.
Every time he walked by. Yeah, exactly.
Got to do that. That's awesome.
And then there was one about a girl she tried fucking herself with a hot dog and it broke off inside her and she had to go to the hospital.
We did hear a story. One girl, she was evidently pulling a train.
Okay.
When she was going to pull a train. She thought it was a good idea at the time, I guess. And I guess somewhere in the hotel room, they changed their mind. She changed her mind.
Okay.
But of course, the 5 guys that were in there with her had paid for the room, and they weren't.
They wanted.
Yeah, they weren't hearing anything about that.
Right.
And it got incredibly boisterous, and the police had to go there, and it was a big scene. And the reason we found out about it was because obviously one of the police officers that responded was a guy that we went to school with.
Okay.
You know, and he was like, yeah, guess what so-and-so did. And it was like, oh, really? And it was a kind of a shock because in high school, she was kind of like a sweet Polly purebred, little Miss Innocent.
So what you're saying is she was, but they never did anything, did they? They didn't.
Well, I think they were in there for a while, and I guess, I don't know, maybe she sobered up or I don't know what happened, but then she started not wanting to do it anymore.
Oh.
So probably 2 of the guys got off, and the other 3 were like, what am I supposed to do with this? You know, and they kept pressing the issue.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just don't know what to say about that.
Yeah. Well, it's just one of the legendary stories about you hear from people you went to school with that
there was almost a rape. That one?
Well, it didn't start out that way.
Yeah, I understand.
It out that.
Well, hey, I got a great rape story that'll bring it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Well, you know, officer, we were all going on our way to bingo, and, you know, one thing led to another.
We were off to the YMCA to watch the bingo tournament, and one thing led to another.
Yeah.
No one got arrested, but...
No one got arrested, really?
From what I hear, yeah.
That's amazing. Well, that was back in the 70s. Now, everybody
I'm not
would be
that
arrested.
old.
80s, right?
Yeah.
All right, it was in the 80s.
Jesus Christ, John.
Well, 79 is the 70s.
Yeah, well, I didn't graduate then. You did.
That's true.
Old man.
Well, I who knows?
Old man, look at me.
It doesn't matter. All right, to finish up the guy with his head and his wife's twat.
And the vajayjay.
The doctor says, who treated the couple, that such extreme sexual practices are dangerous and recommends to completely avoid them. So look at us. Not only are we informing, but we're teaching. You know what I mean?
So this is what they call a teachable moment?
A teachable moment, exactly.
Sign language interpreter used gibberish, warned of bears, monsters during the Hurricane Irma update. Officials in Manatee County, Florida are under fire after an interpreter for the deaf warned about pizza and monsters during an emergency briefing related to Hurricane Irma.
Hey, I heard that 2 of the Miami Marlins stole second base from that guy.
The interpreter, Marshall Green, a lifeguard for the county, has a brother who is deaf. A video news site that provided information. Green was used as the interpreter for a September 8th press conference regarding the incoming storm and possible evacuations. Members of the deaf community said Green mostly signed gibberish referencing pizza, monsters, and using the phrase help you at that time to use bear big.
I'm picturing a deaf girl sitting at home watching the TV and then, Mommy, I think pepperoni coming to kill me.
With a bear and a monster.
Well, can you order pizza from Domino's with bear and pepperoni?
Die pizza.
I'm going to put the video in the show notes where you can see this guy, and he's in a yellow shirt, and he's looking at the woman like he's actually...
Is that right?
Yeah, he's actually watching her. Like, he's like, okay, I know what to do now. And he's doing this, like... I bet you this guy's amazed that he even signed a word. Because I don't think he had.
But this is the second time this happened. I think it happened to Obama.
Had Obama, but the guy,
and I think it was at the healthcare rollout or Obamacare rollout or something. And he was all over the board also.
Well, not only that, but that guy was boisterous, like his hands.
Oh yeah, he was flailing.
This guy was like. He was like real sheepish.
Hesitant
real hesitant. Like, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I was like, I bullshitted my way into this fucking John. Now what do I do?
How many deaf people are actually going to be watching this shit?
I wonder, well, this is probably clearly a case of fake it till you make it.
Right.
Unfortunately, he chose a natural disaster to try to practice his interpretation.
Yeah, normally I'm up here doing stuff about bridge closings, road.
He's a fucking lifeguard. It's like, you, lifeguard, get down from there and sign this emergency warning.
Anybody know sign language? Yeah, I'll give it a whirl.
Yeah, is there a marine biologist here?
I just the video is hysterical. You got to see the video. We'll put that in the show.
When you put it up, if you go to about 47 seconds, it looks like he gives the shocker, and then and then he moves his hands back and forth and his hips start thrusting.
Hang on a second. I got to go to 47 seconds. If you're got to be kidding me. Here we go. Oh, he did the shocker.
1 minute, 3 seconds is when he does the thrust.
He's just sitting there. He's like, he pushes his hand. He does a thing. He taps his head.
Did he go like this for bear? That's what I want.
There's a big monkey coming.
Did he extend his hands like in a claw-like fashion? I mean,
I don't know what he was doing.
Bear.
Jesus.
It's raining bears.
Well, first of all, I mean, I understand, people with disabilities and stuff like that. But don't you think that the deaf people are sitting there? Don't you think they have the closed caption on underneath? Do you really need an interpreter?
Well, there might be
sign language.
It might be people right there in the room.
I don't suppose you saw that sign language lady during the rap concert. Did you see that video?
No. She's just dancing.
No, they went through and talked about it. She's accurate.
That's Snoop Dogg.
That's why I said that video was Snoop Dogg and the interpreter.
Oh. Oh, look at that. That's amazing. And she just looks like some white chick dancing at a wedding, to be quite honest with you.
She's an interpreter.
So there's another video. I don't know if it's during the same concert or not, but there's another rapper that didn't realize she was doing sign language, and he goes over and starts grinding against her because he thinks she's dancing. Yeah,
hey, baby.
I got that right here.
Is it bringing that one too? Look at Doug bringing the content. You've got more content on this show than you ever put on your own show.
Yeah, well, it's a different type of show. This one relies heavily on content brought in from the outside.
I see what you're saying.
See what he did there?
I saw what he did there.
He's a fucking idiot. He's a fucking idiot.
Oh, now I know how to say motherfucker in sign language.
How does that go?
He didn't really start grinding on her. He just came down to dance with her. But I wanted to see that. I wanted to see the look on her face. Actually, I gotta be telling you. I think I dated a girl that looked like that one time. She looks like a girl I used to date.
Did he have dreads like that too?
No, not him. Her.
Oh,
she's white. All right, I get it.
See what he did there?
I see. Yes, Deuce, I saw what he did there. An Oklahoma City police officer fatally shot a man on Tuesday night despite pleas from neighbors that the man was deaf and could not hear the commands to drop the metal pipe he was holding, authorities said. The man, Manuel Sanchez, was shot around 8:15 p.m. outside of his home soon after the police responded to investigate a hit-and-run accident. The first officer arrived and called for backup, pulled out his taser, and ordered Sanchez, 35, who was on his front porch, to drop the 2-foot-long pipe he was clutching. The officer's commands... Jesus. The officer's commands did not register until Mr. Sanchez was ambling off the porch towards the officer, waving the pipe with his right hand, according to police and witnesses. Julio Rejas, a neighbor who lives a few homes down, knew the man was deaf and said he confronted the officers and tried to tell them that the man could not hear. He said the man ran towards the officers with his wife and his 12-year-old. I'm thinking the man with the pipe. It's the man that was trying to tell the officers. He ran towards the officers with his wife and his 12-year-old daughter. It's a wonder they all didn't get it. Be quite honest with you. Imagine
stampeding toward the police.
Towards the police. Next thing you know,
where did this happen at?
Oklahoma.
Okay.
They were screaming to the police officers, "Don't kill him, he's deaf," his daughter yelled. "Don't do it." About 6 other neighbors joined in, frantically trying to get the officer's attention. But less than a minute after the episode began, a second officer arrived and immediately pulled his handgun. Mr. Reyes said, while people were continuing to scream, the first officer fired his taser at Mr. Sanchez. The second one fired his handgun.
Isn't the fact that he's deaf irrelevant?
Well, he can't hear the commands.
If he's coming at him with a pipe, it doesn't matter if he's
yeah,
fucking
but if
deaf.
you're pointing a gun at someone, you usually get the message.
Well, here's the thing. In the neighborhood, Shields Davis, just south of downtown Oklahoma City, Sanchez was known for wandering up and down the streets during the day, even in heavy rain, running laps in the parking lot of the American Legion post next to his home. He never left his home without the pipe, wielding it to shoo away stray dogs. Mr. Sanchez also used the pipe to communicate with people, moving it around, trying to convey what he meant. Mr. Reyes said.
A pipe?
A pipe, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It was the same motion Mr. Sanchez made before the police shot him. Captain Matthews said the shooting was under investigation, that Sergeant Barnes had been placed on a paid administrative leave. The first officer who arrived, Lieutenant Matthew Lindsay, will remain on active duty. Yeah, because he shot him with the taser. Mm-hmm. The other guy pulled out the gun and shot him. I mean, come on. Captain Matthews said the police did not know yet why one officer pulled out a taser and the other one his handgun. You can't get tunnel vision or just lock in on the person with a weapon. Speaking generally about what the officers are encountering during a chaotic scene, I don't know what the officers were thinking.
Who said that?
I'm trying to get to that.
I mean, is it the chief of the police or just some person?
All right, let's try this again. Captain Matthews said the police did not know yet why one man pulled his taser out while the other one pulled his handgun out. You can't get tunnel vision or just get locked in on the person with the weapon.
Who said that?
Speaking generally about the officer, the fucking goddamn Captain Matthews. Pay attention. He said, generally speaking, what the officers can encounter during a chaotic scene. I don't know what the officers were thinking. They very well could have not heard anyone yelling around him. The police responded to Mr. Sanchez's home in the 200. Well, I'm not going to tell you where he lived.
Was that Captain Matthews?
Right. Yes, that's what he said. After receiving 911 calls about the, I'm never reading another fucking story.
I'm really quickly trying to. You keep talking, but there's a video I've got to send.
You're
you.
zoned out?
No.
All right, so basically the captain said that, maybe the cops didn't hear it because they were focused in, and they didn't hear the other guys yelling, that he's deaf, and why is the guy carrying
But
a
how
pipe?
close did he get to the cop? Did they reveal that?
Again, it's not in here.
There's more to this than meets the eye.
Captain Matthews said the truck had been driven by Mr. Sanchez's father, and the son was not involved in the accident. Mr. Reyes said that the father was still in his pickup, parked in the driveway of the home during the confrontation with his son. Now, see, that's weird, too. Why would, if your father, wouldn't you think the father would get out of the car?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this whole thing doesn't make any sense. Next thing you know, they'll be rioting down in Oklahoma, too.
Or you made me think of this video when you started freaking out when people interrupting you.
Go up on the other floor. Somebody go up there and stop the hammering. Stop the hammering. I'll go down to the floor myself and stop it. Keep the commercial going. Mm-hmm. Call in Phil Griffin. I don't care who you call. Stop the hammering.
So basically, we wanted to have
control room and find out where this is going on. It's either there or out there somewhere.
Very good there.
Here are your soccer highlights from Spain.
Wow. Like the professional.
I'd like to know what employee dimed him out. That's what I'd like to know. That's hysterical.
That'll live on the internet forever.
Oh, sure it will. All right, so anyhow, I guess we got to pour one out. If I can find it now. Where the hell's pour one out now? There it is.
That might be under P.
It is. For the poor guy whose name I forget already.
I think it was Julio Iglesias.
Right. All right.
Hush
Your Face is coming straight to your ears. A podcast network that's changing gears, bringing fresh, funky pods with a fresh, funky beat. A family of pods that are bringing the heat. There ain't no stopping us. Keep coming back to us. Sick-ass pods that'll make you hush. www. Hush your face. www. Hush your face. www.hushyourface.com.
Let me ask you this, Doug.
Yeah.
Did you see the movie Wonder Woman, the newest one?
Nope.
Strangely enough, I saw it today
Oh, you did?
in the break room.
How does that work?
They have computers.
And the movie's out where you can watch it on a computer?
Well,
already?
there's free websites where people
okay.
air pirated videos.
Gotcha. How was it?
It was a DC movie.
Oh, see, you're one of the Marvel guys?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
The superior universe.
All right, whatever. So Wonder Woman, the movie came out. She's pretty hot.
Doug's laughing.
I'm sorry, I didn't have my Dungeons and Dragons badge, so I didn't know which.
Has nothing to do with Marvel or DC.
Right, I think it does, to be quite honest with you. So now the new movies, they want a sequel coming out, but this time they want Wonder Woman to be a bisexual. Your thoughts, Doug?
I'm okay with it. Sounds good.
Deuce?
I'll sound incredibly geeky because I'm a comic book fan, but that's basically how Wonder Woman always was in the comic books. She's in an island. She's from an island where there are no men.
So that wouldn't make her bisexual. That would make her a lesbian.
Yeah, but when she came off the island, she had the hots for Superman.
Well, I can understand it. Well, first of all, there's no men there. How do all the women get there?
You're not supposed to ask. They're all goddesses or Amazons or derivatives of Greek mythology.
Oh, so they're just.
This is why I see now exactly where this is going, because I know this and you don't. So
what does that mean? I mean, I can. If you explain it to me, I can understand it.
Yeah, because it's like Dungeons and Dragons. But anyway, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a setup.
I tickled the white underbelly of Deuce. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean it. I wasn't saying you. Mm-hmm. I was saying that Dungeons and Dragons people.
No, well, comic book fans, or it's the same thing. So I know how you lead people down the garden path.
Okay.
But if you just Google the history of Wonder Woman, and there's always been the guy that invented Wonder Woman.
I do not want that on my Google search history.
He lived with two women. He was married to a woman, and they started carrying on with a third woman, and they were in the bondage. That's what the Golden Lasso with Wonder Woman's all about, and in the early Wonder Woman comic books, that's how you subdued Wonder Woman. You had to tie her with her own golden lasso. Good luck getting it off of her in the first place. I don't know how you do that.
Right.
It's like, yeah, just defang that grizzly bear. Okay.
You have to be a bear of a man to be able to take her on.
How's that happen?
So is this this real stuff, or is this some like creepy fan fiction shit that people are jerking off to?
It's the real. Yeah, I forget the guy's name, but he was in the 40s when he came out with the Wonder Woman character. He had quite a colorful private life sexually.
So he swung from both sides of the tree.
Well, like I said, he was always having constant menage a trois and S&M and BDSM sessions and very racy. Getting back to this, a similar thing. They wanted this to happen with the last Captain America movie. They wanted him and Bucky to be homos. You
can't have Miss Captain America be a homo.
Exactly. And he was never even like this, but because now everybody has to be gay.
Everybody's got to take a cock to the chops.
It's like, So this happened a couple of years ago with the last Captain America movie when that came out. They were upset because there was a scene where Bucky and Captain America were talking about two girls that they dated, in the 1940s,
right
before they got frozen. And they were like, oh, they should be gay. Why?
Why?
Exactly. Just because, so. Well, you know what? It's like, come up with your own superhero and make him gay. Don't take an established superhero and just decide because your feelings are hurt.
Gay superhero, what would he be? What would his name be?
Gay.
Buttman and Throbbing.
I saw that movie.
Oh, was that actually a movie?
It's an old porn movie.
Buttman and Throbbing?
John Holmes, yeah.
Holy cow. Could you imagine that? What his superpowers would be?
Well, you can imagine what his
shooting ropes.
There you go.
Rope man.
Right. He can tie a man down with his white rope.
That golden age of pornography where you actually went for cultural enrichment because they had a plot.
Right. Now you just go for you try to find the one that's like 7 minutes long because that's all it takes. I wouldn't mind Wonder Woman being, a lesbian or bisexual.
Through her history, she's had in the comics, this is. She's carried on with Superman, Batman.
She's a hussy.
She liked Captain Trevor. Linda Carter was still the best Wonder Woman.
I don't know. This one's pretty hot. I've seen her before in something else. I don't know what it is.
I'm not saying she's not attractive, but Linda Carter will be the definitive.
Really? So then who's the definitive Batman?
Adam West.
Okay. Who's the definitive Superman?
I still like the original 1978 movie with Christopher Reeve.
I think Christopher Reeve after the horseback accident.
Really, when he was just a lump of guy laying in a bed with a wheelchair.
Yeah,
that's the one. That's Superman for you.
Yeah, when he's in the wheelchair driving with the straw.
They don't seem to know what to do with Superman. It's weird. And DC fucked up Green Lantern. How do you fuck up the Green Lantern movie? That was all kinds of terrible. I don't know if you've seen it or not.
No, I don't really.
Yeah, I know. So,
it's not my thing.
It's just like one of the most awesome superheroes. You put this ring on, you can become a defender of justice, flying around, do cool shit, using your imagination, and they fucked that up.
I liked Iron Man.
Yeah, that's Marvel.
I like that. I like the first Superman movie.
That's still the best one. Sad to say, almost 40 years later, and that's still the best one.
Right. I like the Batman with where the Joker was
Heath Ledger.
No, what's his name?
Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. I like that.
When's the last time you watched that?
God, I don't even know.
I went back and watched it with my daughter because she really likes the newer Batman movies. So I said, you've got to watch this. This movie is the best Batman movie you'll ever see. It does not hold up. It is fucking horrible.
So halfway through, you had to apologize to your daughter?
Oh, yeah, it's horrible.
And the worst ones were the Batman Forever and then Batman and Robin, where Joel Schumacher took over from Tim Burton directing. Totally destroyed it. They were like garish and campy.
And I liked
Jim Carrey as the Riddler was horrible.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one either.
So over the top.
I like the Hulk movies, too. I like the one with Ed Norton.
The second Hulk movie was good. The first one that Ang Lee directed, who also did Brokeback Mountain, that was a horrible movie. And I'm a Marvel fan. That one was not as good as the second Hulk movie, the one that you're referencing.
Okay.
Yeah, the first one was like, oh.
The guy who's playing it now, who's plays now, he was in a couple other
Mark Ruffalo.
Right. That one was pretty good, too.
Yeah. Well, hasn't had a movie since, but he's been in the 2 Avengers movies.
They're still making
Guardians of the Galaxy movies are awesome.
I can't get through it.
What?
3 times I tried to watch it. I can't get through it.
Same with me. I can't either.
It's the best sleeping pill. If I can't sleep, I put that movie on. Wow. 15 minutes, I'm out.
Something wrong with you.
I guess. I mean,
See the Avengers?
I think I have.
There's 2 of them. There was the first one.
I think I saw the first one. I didn't see the second one.
Second was Age of Ultron.
My daughters love Marvel movies.
Mm-hmm.
They love all the Marvel. They see them all whenever they came. Captain America, all that stuff that came out. They love them. But besides that, what can I tell you?
The second Michael Keaton movie, where the Batman Returns, that was a lot darker than the first one, and a lot of the fans tend to like that one. What do you think, Doug?
I can't even think anything about it right now.
That's the one with Danny DeVito as the Penguin.
Oh, yeah, I didn't care.
Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman.
Yeah, I didn't care for it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was a little bit darker than the first one.
All right, why don't we get out of here?
Get out of here, you.
Thank you for joining us. And listen, if you don't like to download us, then you can always go over to Radio Vegas Rock and stream us. We are on Thursdays, 5 p.m. No. God, why?
I thought you said you had this all typed out.
I did, but guess what? Not this one.
So can I interrupt you here?
Sure, why not?
All right. So, this most recent episode, Bad Cop, they said that they dropped out of that, all the streaming services.
Correct.
So I've always had that thought aren't you any download, anything that you're getting while you're streaming? So I know you're doing this just because you enjoy it. You enjoy the process. You enjoy knowing that people are listening to you, and maybe their day's a little better because you two decided to get together and talk, right?
Yeah.
But ultimately, other people are making money off of your product. All the work that you put into, I can look at your board in front of me here and see that you guys put in a lot of work, or one of you does anyway.
Well, who would that be?
That would be you, John.
Oh, okay. Just checking. I was wondering because he laughed awful loud. I thought maybe he was the one that was putting in all the work. Go ahead.
So I've heard him say that he doesn't do any pre-work. He just comes down with his laptop.
That's not
plugs
true.
in,
He does put stories in there. That's not true. He does.
Anyway,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let's say it gets to a point where a major sponsor reaches out to you.
Yes.
Right, and they're going to want to see your download numbers.
Right.
Everything that the streaming services have gotten, you can't claim them.
That's true. Okay, so I'm going to get into this a little bit. Sorry, people, it's a little geeky, but if you're a podcaster and you're listening to this, you're probably going to, you're going to perk up about this. So what happened in the past, couple months is that the people that we host our audio with, when you go and download this show, or if it's on your podcatcher, what happens is we upload this MP3 to a place that's called a file server. And then when you click, it downloads from that file server to your phone and you listen to it. And that's how it works. Well, the IAB, which is the International Advertising Bureau, they are now coming into the space because of advertising. And they don't like the idea of how we used to get our stats. So basically what would happen is if you subscribe to the Brand X podcast or the Who's Right podcast and you subscribe to it and you had it automatically download as soon as it came, the episode, I would upload it and you were subscribed, it would automatically go to your podcatcher of choice and it would download. All right. And I would get one download as my stats. So what happens is the International Advertising Bureau says, no, because how do we know that they're even listening to it? They could have not listened to it that week. They could have got busy or something. They didn't listen to it. And we just advertise and those numbers aren't right. So I don't know what's going on. Everybody in the podcasting space right now, they're driving to bridges as we speak to get ready to jump because some people's numbers have dropped off 50% or more because of the way they're reporting them now. And people are losing their minds. I don't know what we did, but we haven't lost a download that I know of.
Yeah, we have.
Okay, so everybody else is losing downloads. I don't know why. Now, they say there has to do with file size. And I don't, our file sizes, I make our file sizes as small as possible where they still sound good. So our file sizes are small. We don't upload in stereo. Everything's mono because you can't tell the difference between mono and stereo when you're doing a podcast like this. And we haven't had a problem with it. Now, I have to dig into this a little bit more because it's a developing story because they're putting PDFs out and they're writing articles and all this stuff, and people are losing their minds because there's a lot of people right now that get advertising, and it's called they call it the CPM method. So basically what it is you get an advertiser will play $25 for every 1,000 downloads you get per episode per month. Okay? Mm-hmm. So let's say we have 2,000 downloads per episode per month, and we do a spot for dude wipes, okay? We're going to get $50 per episode. Now, if we do 4 spots, through other advertisers, and we get that same thing, we would get, let's do the math real quick, $200 an episode. All right? Now, take that and times that by 10. All right? So now people are getting $2,000 an episode because their numbers are up. Now, all of a sudden, they've changed the way they report it. Now, instead of getting 2,000 downloads per episode, they're getting 800. Mm-hmm. Now, their money has dropped over half.
Right.
Now, these people are like losing their shit because they were making money, and now they're not. So it doesn't make a difference to me, and I understand what you're saying. But, Doug, the reason I like to use the streaming services is because we're not well known. We don't have a name for ourselves. So if some people are going there and they catch our podcast from there, then maybe they'll come over and subscribe and download. Because the thing about podcasting that I think is so fantastic about it is you don't go to stream it, you download it, and you can listen to it at any time, anywhere. That's the beauty of podcasting is it gives you all the power and all the freedom.
So, Anthony and I have talked a lot about this, and I go back and forth, but ultimately I don't like the thought of I'm okay with the circle of listeners that we have now. Mm-hmm. And never making any money off of it, as opposed to 10 or 20 times more people listening to it and somebody else making money off of it.
Right. I understand what you're saying.
I would just as soon, not have to worry. We've had a couple, back when I was living in Illinois, we had 2 businesses approach us wanting to advertise.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah, but we turned them down. They wanted to have a set length. They wrote the commercial, and they wanted it a certain amount of times at a certain time in the show, regardless of what was being said. So if one of us was in the middle of a story, it still had to drop in right there.
Yeah.
I just
flow.
Yeah, I just wasn't going to have it. It's we do this like we always say. We do it just to make each other laugh. And if people enjoy listening to us, so be it. We're not going to change what we do because it doesn't fit the flow or the advertisers or whatever. And up until like 3 weeks ago, I think it was, I had thought that we were building a pretty good base, but I think the rug got pulled out from under me.
Well, I think it's this reporting thing.
Yeah. What's really funny is the numbers that we're getting now have got me upset. Like, why the fuck am I even doing this? But I would have killed to have the numbers that I'm having right now.
Right. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you basically what we get because I don't really care. We basically get between 200 and 300 downloads per month per episode. So to me, that's a small amount of people. So I'm still trying to get this in front of people because, again, this isn't a podcast that would really appeal to a lot of different people. Women aren't going to really want to listen to this. It's more guys in around our age group, and a lot of those guys don't really listen to podcasts. So I don't know. But then again, the way I look at it is that even if you took a room and you put 300 people in there and we broadcasted in front of 300 people, that's a lot of people.
Right. And so that's what I tell Anthony. All right. So I'm looking at my numbers right now. I'm going back 3 episodes. All right. So we had a total of for Dumb Ravioli. And then last week's was down, and this week's is it.
But you got Labor Day in there. That could have, I think the holidays do have an effect somewhat.
Our best episode so far was 2.5 months ago. We got featured in an online article about using dark humor for good, basically. And what it was us talking about people having sex and all the different shit that people do, and not judging people for what they do, but we were still making fun of people. Mm-hmm. But ultimately it ended up being, just fucking leave people alone, let them do whatever. But anyway, that drove a lot to the show. That episode in and of itself was at.
See, that's fantastic. And that's what you need. You just need to be able to get in front of people. I feel that if we can get in front of people, that we would pick up listeners. Now, we do the Facebook Live. We get somewhere around 300 to 350 people watching throughout the week, Facebook Live. Are they going to go download the show once they've watched it? I don't know. Now, if they don't watch it, will the numbers go up? Will they go download the show? I don't know that either. We're going to find out because this show is not going to be on Facebook because we have you on. I always say that download numbers are like penis sizes. The only way you're going to tell anybody about them is if they're big. No one is going to tell about their small download numbers. And that's fine. That's not why I do this. I do this to be funny. I do this to perform. I do this to entertain. Hopefully, somebody's listening and we make their day. That's what we do this for. It's also therapy, to be quite honest with you. I get a chance to actually not be politically correct, talk about how I feel, and I like that. So I'm not going to change it. But we started, I guess when we first started, we were getting about 100 and 125 downloads per episode, and we've doubled that. So, who knows? And we've only been, I guess it's about 1.5 years now, right, dude?
Yeah, March 4th was 1 year. May 4th, I'm sorry. May 4th.
Yeah, May 4th. Go to Vegas Rocks, and you can find us there, and also Slings, Flings, and Dingalings Network. We are also over there on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. All right. Ready for the podcast shout-outs, Deuce?
Sure.
All right, now wait a minute. Before you go into all that.
Let's see what you did.
You see what I did?
I'm red.
You like that?
But Joe's not here.
That's okay.
It's still going to screw you up.
You got to be Joe, Doug.
If you are looking for some other great podcasts to check out, we highly recommend these other podcasters. A lot of these guys put out awesome products, and they're great friends of ours. And the Evening Radio Podcast with Jason and Mindy, part of the Hush Your Face Network. They will be debuting this week.
I am so looking forward to hearing their theme song.
Really? Bad Cop. With Jerry and Dave. And, with those guys.
Jerry doesn't like girls.
You know how straight I am? I'll fuck you in the ass to prove it.
So I was talking to them on Twitter,
Yes.
you know. So what's funny is, to me, they are, I guess, the epitome. They are top tier. They are fucking funny.
I agree.
Anthony does not like them at all.
Because Anthony don't know funny.
Well,
He doesn't like-
that could very well be true.
Really? He does.
But so in talking to them, I found out that they record. They don't edit. They just record and post.
Right.
They sound that good and that fucking funny. It fucking pisses me off. I went back to their very first episode, the same as I did with yours.
Right.
And their first episode sounds better than our most recent episode.
Okay.
It fucking pisses me off.
Well, again, you can't go by that. I mean, you know, they've had a different. We grew up listening to Stern. Okay, him, me, we're all students of Stern. And
as am I.
Okay, so then I don't know what the fuck your problem is, to be quite honest with you.
I've got no business doing
I was trying
this.
to throw you a life rope, and then you just shoot it away.
So all I'm doing right now is just trying to protect myself, because we spend the next episode that of our show that comes out, we spend the majority of it talking about them. So I'm just trying to do something to protect myself from them.
You're guarding your loins, are you?
A preemptive.
Let me just tell you
Thanks.
something. You don't want to fuck with Jerry and Dave. Like, they're big time.
I have a feeling that they're gonna have their way with it. It'll be funny though.
Okay.
But like I said, there's nothing they can say that one will make me stop listening to them, and two,
Right.
that we haven't already said about our own show. So fuck it.
I understand that. And the thing about it too is, you know, if they're talking about you, you know, it's almost like a badge of honor, to be quite honest with you. So no, I do. I talked to Jerry today about the downloads and all that kind of stuff. I was talking to him about that today. But, you know, excellent show. Really do like that show. All right, Doug, you're up. Here you go.
A couple of North Carolina boys, right? The
Yeah.
Hoonan Show, Rocky, BB, Drew, and Josh. Have you you've been on that show, right?
Yeah, I was sitting on the couch one day. All of a sudden, my phone rang, and I was on the show. It was kind of like you guys.
Hey, can you be ready in 45 minutes?
Can you be ready now?
Can you be ready? Are you ready yet?
Yeah. Then I listened to
what'd you bring to the table?
Yeah, and then Anthony's like, what's taking him so long? Like, Jesus Christ. Got to get down the steps. Got to fire up the computer.
Chain drive.
Yeah, right.
The Pat and Mellor Show with Matt Mellor and Viva La Pedro is part of the Hush Your Face Network.
Two guys. One's funny. One's a little silly. Who's Right with Doug and Anthony? Part of the Hush Your Face Network. I can't wait for this next one when you guys talk about Bad Cop, Bad Cop.
Anthony is brilliant.
Sure he is.
I think he is. I think Anthony's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Do you really?
I do.
You don't
Absolutely,
think
I
I
do.
think he's funny as hell.
Really?
Yeah. He is brilliant.
Okay. I don't know.
It's just you.
It's me.
I don't think he's brilliant by any means, but I do think he's fucking hilarious.
Okay. He's easy to get under. He's very easy, not on the show, but in real life, he's very easy to get under his skin. Like on social media.
No. He. I don't think that.
Or maybe I'm reading it wrong.
You are reading it wrong. I don't think he thinks enough of you for you to get under his skin.
Oh.
I couldn't get under his skin. He doesn't give a fuck about social media at all.
Okay, well, maybe that's just me then. Because at one time I said something about when you guys were talking about how he doesn't wipe down the toilet when he goes to take a shit.
Yeah.
Like he'll just sit on, like if there was a
shit on your face.
Right, if there's a tree going out of the toilet.
How can you say that that's not fucking funny, John? That was probably the best line of that episode.
Which was what?
It's all shit on your face. I don't care.
That's true. Okay. All right. Yeah, that was a good line. I'm not going to lie. But so I said something about taking a shit at his house, and he's like, I wouldn't even let you in my front door. And I said, I guess I'll have to shit on your lawn or something like that.
Like the mad shitter.
Yeah, like the mad shitter. I'll come over and shit.
Despite shit. No, you won't let me in? All right. I'm shitting right here.
We just did our own little root cause analysis on that shitting jogger. Could have been.
Yes.
It could have been her Anthony that she was shitting.
Right.
There you go.
Bro Ron's podcast with Big D and Little R, part of the Hush Your Face Network.
The Unwritable Rant with Juliet Miranda.
The Story Behind with Emily Prokop.
The Rob and Slim Show with Rob and Slim and Sleepy Lucas, also part of the Hush Your Face Network.
Ice in the Face with Sarah and Rick.
I will take care of The Story Behind by Emily Prokop, and I'll do Horribly Awkward. Sean Fuller, part of the Hush Your Face Network.
It's making this very easy to edit.
Now That I'm Older with Shane and Kenny.
Toe on the Trigger with Daniel, Nicole, and Courtney 3000.
The Nerd of Wells podcast with Eric, Sam, and Chris, part of the Hush Your Face Network. Everybody's part of the fucking Hush Your Face Network.
What do you want me to do?
Everybody. Except for the Hunan show, who John did not put that they're part of the Hush Your Face network, and that's the guy that
It's his
started
fucking
the network. Here's a sharp stick in your eye, Rocky. Ugh.
God, it does 90% of the work. It's 100% of the shit. That's all I got to say.
The Horrible Gamers with Jesus, Ryan, Eric, and Gunny.
Fuck, there's
Part
another
of the
page.
Hush Your Face network.
Everyone has a podcast. Adam and Brian.
Epic Film Guys with Nick and Justin.
The Naked Porch Podcast with Ray, Danielle, and Chris.
Bold and Belligerent with Lauren, Josh, Mike, and Luke. If you enjoyed this show, please do us a favor. Tell a few friends. Even, just a couple buddies. Show them how to actually download it. That would be nice. If not, even share we're on all these social networks, so share our social media with your social media people. That would be great. It's easy to do. We're on all these platforms. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/BrandXPodcast. We're on the Twitter at BrandXPodcast. We're on Instagram at BrandXPodcast. Just like and follow us and share with your friends. We would really appreciate it. We would also love it if you join in on the conversation. You can email us at brandxpod@gmail.com, or you can call into Times Yours voicemail 856-322-2473 and leave a message, and we will feature you in the next Time Yours segment. Thank you so much for listening. Come back next week for another episode of the Brand X Podcast.
And we would like to thank Doug of the Who's Right podcast.
All
for
that's over.
joining us.
You're talking. The show's over.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I'm not going to thank
You
Doug.
piece of
Oh,
shit.
wow, you're pretty fucking brutal. Wow.
Will you shut the fuck up so I can end the recording?
That's it. We're just getting into it.